There are people who grow older and whose faces become more radiant and gentle, making everyone want to come near, talk, and befriend them. Yet there are others for whom time brings a harsher look and a heavy gaze that makes people keep their distance. Why is that so? Is it because creation favors one and neglects another? Or is it because there is a quiet law, precise down to the smallest line, that a face is the handwritten book of one's fate, a book not written in ink, but in every thought, every word and every deed throughout a lifetime? The ancients often reminded us that the mind gives rise to appearance and appearance gives rise to destiny. The mind is the root, appearance is the flower. Whether the flower is beautiful or not, fresh or withered, is entirely nourished by the root. A single gaze can tell the story of decades gone by. That story may be years lived in kindness and the accumulation of virtue, or it may be years of indulgence, calculation, and harm done to others. A fleeting smile is enough for a discerning person to sense whether the inner soul is warm and compassionate or cold and indifferent. You do not have to be as beautiful as a showy flower, but if you can be as gentle as the spring breeze, cool and pleasant, that is already a kind of blessed appearance everyone values. Therefore, to see into a person's destiny, you sometimes do not need to ask many questions. It is enough to quietly observe the face, the eyes, the voice, the gait, the bearing. Appearance is the storefront of the soul, the map that reveals a life's path of self-cultivation or self-abandonment. If you want to know whether you are blessed, do not look in the mirror only to check smooth skin or sleek hair. Look deeper into the eyes and the vitality of the spirit, things no cosmetics can paint and no technique can conceal. And to look rightly, let us begin a journey of seeing our own countenance again, not to judge the outside but to light the inside. The ancients said the mind is the root and appearance is the flower. Appearance is the karmic result of the mind, the outcome of a long process of sowing and reaping in everyday life. All things in heaven and earth, from outward form to inner core, from complexion to destiny, are not separate from the mind. The mind is the root. Once the root tilts, how can the tree be straight? Once the mind is skewed, how can the features be upright? In the span of a human life, if one tends only to the outer shell, to skin, figure and clothing, while forgetting to nourish the mind, it is like planting 100 kinds of flowers, but neglecting the soil, or washing one's hair with expensive perfume, while letting the body gather dust. Beauty that arises only from the outside without an inner source is as fragile as morning mist that vanishes at the first sunlight. Perhaps this is why the ancients especially valued cultivating the mind. Cultivating the mind is the shortest path to nurturing appearance. Those who cultivate the mind do not seek to be more beautiful than others, but to be more gentle in spirit. From there, the countenance naturally gains an aura. A person may not possess stunning beauty, but if the heart is kind, the eyes will naturally shine clear, the smile will naturally be pleasing, and the voice will naturally be soft. This is a kind of beauty that does not fade with the years. Appearance is not a display of looks, but a mirror reflecting the inner life. It is the outcome of sowing good or bad seeds. If a person habitually thinks wholesome thoughts and inclines the mind toward virtuous teachings, then even at an advanced age, the features remain agreeable, the spirit bright, the gaze calm, and the gestures measured. These are signs of an inner life at peace, not driven by desire and vexation. On the other hand, if the heart carries much calculation, quick anger, jealousy, and envy, then even with a pretty face, the spirit will soon take on a chill. The aura becomes sharp and angular, not with the sharpness of wisdom, but with that of a soul eroded by resentment and selfishness. Such a person makes others unconsciously wary and distant even before a word is spoken. The ancients taught that the mind gives rise to myriad forms, and when a single thought arises, countless appearances follow. A single thought arising in the mind is enough to change the features. If the thought is wholesome, the countenance becomes softer and kinder. If the thought is unwholesome, even if it flashes for a moment, a shadow will fall over the face. The spirit grows dim, the aura depleted, the gaze loses vitality. You can notice this. When someone is angry, the face flushes or goes pale, the lips press tight, the brow furrows, and the eyes cut like a blade. But when that person truly smiles, the whole face brightens, the eyes glisten, and the corners of the mouth soften. The same person, only a different thought in the heart, and appearance changes in an instant. How much more will the features change when those thoughts repeat day after day, year after year, shaped by what nourishes them? So if you want to improve your destiny first, return to correct the mind. The ancients said to know one's past life, look at one's life today. To know one's next life, look at what one does today. Cultivating the mind now does not only affect tomorrow's fortune or misfortune, it is imprinted on your face in every gesture and every glance. Some ask whether appearance can change. The answer is yes, but it does not change because of scalpels or cosmetics. It changes through transformation from within. A person who lives with generosity and compassion will gradually have gentler eyes, a mouth that often smiles, and an unhurried gait. A person who lives in selfishness and envy, no matter how beautiful today, will tomorrow show a tired spirit and a hardened face ruled by unwholesome thoughts. A blessed woman is not blessed because she was born into luxury. She is blessed because she knows how to sow blessings for herself. Each day speak one less harsh word and one more gentle word. Each day entertain one less bad thought and one more good thought. Each day do one less harmful act and one more helpful deed. With every seed of goodness sown, the countenance is nourished into greater softness, and the aura grows more serene and elevated. Therefore, instead of asking only how to stay young longer, ask how to live more virtuously and keep a kinder heart. When the heart is kind, the features naturally become beautiful. When blessings are sufficient, destiny naturally turns. When a woman steps into her 40s, her face is no longer just a face. It is a journal, engraved with every joy and sorrow, every wound and happiness, every thought that has passed through her life. Even if she once possessed striking beauty, if she cannot maintain a kind heart and spends each day in resentment, vexation, and gossip, then over time her appearance will change in ways that cannot be hidden. There are changes you can recognize without a mirror. The eyes grow faint, the corners of the mouth droop, the face becomes heavy, the spirit is knotted with resentment. These are not the marks of age. They are the result of an unquiet inner life and a lack of mindfulness. Appearance is a kind of karmic result. It does not come from anywhere, but from what we accumulate in each thought, each word, and each daily act. The mind is the cause, appearance is the effect. A straight mind gives an upright face. A gentle mind gives a calm, smiling mouth. A forgiving mind gives eyes that shine softly. A woman who keeps a blessed countenance does not need to flaunt herself or rely on much makeup, because the truest beauty is the beauty seeded by a heart aligned with the way. Some say we should look at everyone with a compassionate gaze, because no one lives long enough to keep the beauty of youth forever. Only the heart stays with us to the very end. That is entirely true. One who lives mindfully, even with wrinkles etched by time, still makes others feel at ease and willing to listen. Conversely, one who lives selfishly and domineeringly, even if the features remain intact, gradually shows a cold aura that makes others feel heavy when interacting. Confucius said that the noble person values virtue, not looks. What is interesting is that those who value virtue over time develop beauty, because virtue is an inner light, and when that light radiates outward, it makes the whole countenance luminous. A woman with blessed features is first of all a woman with a kind heart. She does not need to chase trends or stand out noisily. When she enters a room, she brings an ease and a peace that naturally make others more courteous and more inclined to treat people well. This is a soft moral authority that comes only from a life of humility and benevolence that harms no one. If you want to know what a person's later fortune will be, observe the features when that person is silent. In that very moment of silence, appearance speaks for the heart. Whether the complexion is bright or gloomy, the eyes steady or restless, the vitality serene or turbid, none of it can be hidden. The ancients taught that if one cultivates within, virtue grows thick. When virtue grows thick, features become steady. When features are steady, one's fate is at peace. A beautiful face may catch attention once, but a benevolent, dignified, gentle face makes others want to cherish it for a lifetime. That is the true value of appearance and the highest sign of a heart cultivated enough and a virtue established deep. Next, the ancients spoke much about spirit, something that is not only in the face but radiates from the whole body. They taught that spirit is the root of appearance. When spirit flourishes, features shine. When spirit wanes, features grow dim. Among all a person's expressions, spirit is the first thing others sense about who we are, how we live, and what we carry within. The eyes are where spirit gathers most clearly. A woman whose eyes are calm and bright, free of scheming glare, and free of sullen knots is one who carries a wholesome quality from within. Eyes like a clear stream, like the early sun, make others feel comfortable, trusting and willing to come closer. This is not the look of surface beauty, but the look of blessed fortune. People say the eyes are the windows of the soul. In physiognomy, the eyes also reveal the true state of the heart. The eyes can pretend to smile, and the lips can speak pretty words, but if the heart is unwholesome, the gaze will be shifty, or too sharp, or lifeless, or unstable. Like a lake, if the depths are not at rest, even when the surface seems calm, it cannot stay clear for long. A distorted heart over time will show in the eyes, making others not want to look for long. A pure heart gives gentle eyes. Such a person does not stare with a probing look when seeing others, nor avoid eye contact when speaking. An upright and tender gaze is the sign of dignity and sincerity. A woman's appearance is not only a gift from heaven, it is the sum of causes and conditions, habits, ways of living, and karma. In other words, appearance is a faithful notebook that records everything we have lived. Live a certain way and the features will show that way. It cannot be forced, and it cannot be painted on for long. That is why a truly wise woman does not merely care for cosmetics, but prioritizes cultivating the heart, the vital energy, and the spirit. When spirit is bright, appearance naturally changes. A woman after 40 can still be beautiful, but it is a quiet beauty, the beauty of experience of eyes, no longer confused, of a smile that no longer hides. This beauty does not overwhelm yet. It settles deeply in the hearts of those who meet it. The ancients called it lao lai dirm, the ripened beauty of one who has gone through half a life, who knows how to let go of what is meaningless and keep what is precious. The ancients also taught that you can see an entire life by looking into the eyes. The eyes are not only the windows of the soul, but the truest mirror reflecting what a person has thought, done, and undergone. All calculation, greed, resentment, as well as kindness and magnanimity appear in the gaze, no matter how much we try to hide them. A woman with gentle eyes usually carries a warm soul. She does not rush to judge or cling to trifles. When she looks at someone, her gaze is not knife cold or needle sharp. It is as light as a morning breeze, enough to make the other feel at ease. Some compare gentle eyes to the morning sun, warm without being harsh, clear without being glaring. In physiognomy, the eyes reveal not only wisdom but also blessing. A gentle gaze is a sign of a heart that has learned to loosen greed, anger, and delusion, and to live in accord with goodness. Such a person does not flare up easily or rush to judge. She knows how to listen and empathize. For this reason, many come to love and trust her. Gentle eyes cannot be faked. They are the result of a life and an inner world nourished by what is good. You can practice smiling and speaking skillfully, but you cannot perform with your eyes for long, because the eyes always reveal what is truly inside. If the heart often harbors suspicion, envy, and greed, the gaze will gradually become cold, unapproachable, or vacant. Conversely, if the heart often thinks good thoughts and lives well, the eyes will naturally grow gentle and clear, making others feel at ease. A woman with gentle eyes usually brings peace to those around her. In the family, such a gaze is a soft lamp that dispels tension and reassures husband and children. At work, it creates a pleasant atmosphere that invites cooperation. In society, it helps her form connections easily, because others always sense sincerity and trust. In the Buddha's teaching, the eyes are also an expression of compassion and wisdom. The Buddha is described as having eyes like a lotus, bright yet gentle, seeing through everything without a trace of judgment. Such a gaze does not merely observe, it also imparts peace to those before it. A woman who wishes to have such eyes must begin by cultivating the heart, keeping it wholesome regularly, practicing good deeds, and learning to look at others with loving kindness. There is a small story like this. In a village there was a young woman known for her kindness, beloved by all. People said it was not because she was beautiful, but because her eyes were especially warm. Whenever someone was troubled, they needed only to sit across from her, hear a few words, and look into her eyes, and their sadness seemed to dissolve. When asked for her secret, she simply smiled and said, "I do not know any secret. I only know that when I look at someone, I think of them as family, and I wish them peace." Perhaps that very intention made her eyes a wellspring of wholesome energy that put everyone at ease. In life, we may not remember everything people said to us, but we remember clearly the look in their eyes. The eyes can comfort, encourage, and inspire. They can also instill fear, wound, and erode trust. Therefore, if she wishes to preserve a blessed countenance, a woman should learn to let her eyes be filled with gentleness. Doing so not only beautifies herself, but also sows blessings among those around her. To have gentle eyes first keep the heart free of resentment. Resentment is like fine dust that settles on the eyes day by day until it clouds their clarity. Second, practice letting go of winning and losing. When the heart no longer stands, guard no longer worries about taking the advantage, the gaze becomes naturally light. Third, learn to love others. When the heart holds compassion, the eyes naturally become a cool spring for all who look into them. And most important, do not use your eyes to scrutinize and criticize. Those who habitually examine and judge others with their gaze develop a force in their eyes that unsettles people. One who looks with empathy radiates warmth that makes others feel accepted. A gentle, clear gaze is an invisible invitation, drawing people closer and at the same time a shield that protects oneself. For when your eyes have planted trust in others, you are seldom treated with suspicion. That too is a form of blessing. The ancients believed the eyes are the first thing by which to read a person's fate. Blessing or misfortune, nobility or lowliness often reveal themselves in the spirit of the eyes. To change the eyes, one cannot merely change how one looks at things. One must change how one lives. When you live virtuously, peacefully, and with contentment, your eyes will naturally grow gentle, and when the eyes change, destiny gradually follows. Therefore, if you want a blessed appearance that endures, begin within. Harbor less resentment, less rivalry, less clinging. Practice looking at others with a forgiving gaze, speaking gentle words, walking unhurriedly, and living humbly. Sooner or later, all of this will settle into your features. One day you will realize that people do not see only a face when they look at you. They see an entire life of goodness radiating through every glance, every smile, every breath. Second, the optimistic smile, the root of a peaceful life. The ancients said speech is the sound of the heart. A smile is the color of the heart. What the mind thinks, what the mouth says, and what the face shows are all faithful disclosures of the inner world. A smile is not merely a mechanical movement of the lips nor a social tactic to please others. A smile that arises from deep within the heart is the crystallization of a soul that has learned to meet life with gentle eyes and forbearance. A woman whose smile is sincere, soft, and at ease surely carries within her a world of peace. It is a quiet, unshowy peace that can make those before her feel relieved, as if standing in a spring morning with sunlight spread like gold and a breeze faint with the scent of flowers. In the old physiognomic teachings, the mouth is a gateway of blessing, but also a place where calamity easily arises. A gentle smile, a mild tone, and measured speech all nourish a benevolent appearance that makes others want to stay close and converse. Conversely, constant scowling or irritation, sarcastic laughter, or cutting words gradually darken one's spirit. The eyes lose vitality, the corners of the mouth draw tight, and the natural allure of one's bearing fades. A woman with a natural smile, neither forced nor affected, is one who knows how to live in accord with conditions. In that smile there is no ostentation and no trace of pretense. only a calm acceptance of life's joys and sorrows. It is the beauty of one who has known bitterness, yet chooses forgiveness and goodness to continue on. The ancients said, "When the mouth often smiles, blessing draws near. When the mouth often complains, misfortune is hard to avoid." In traditional thought, a smile not only brings good fortune to oneself, but also dissolves conflict and softens the world around. When we smile at others with a kind heart, the whole world seems to smile back. This is the resonance of yin and yang, something the elders greatly valued. A woman who keeps a gentle smile on her lips is one who has preserved upright energy in her heart. No one can smile in the face of adversity if their heart is full of resentment. No one can truly smile if the mind overflows with selfishness and envy. Only those with inner strength and ample forbearance can smile sincerely, not to ingratiate or evade, but out of understanding. Wherever such a person goes, the atmosphere becomes lighter. In the family, a wife's smile is a warm fire and a soft blanket that preserves harmony. In friendship, a woman's smile is a support that invites others to share. In society, those who know how to smile and observe propriety at the right time keep concord. They are the ones who go far, connect widely, and sustain good fortune. The elders taught, when people are joyful, the face softens. When the heart is at ease, the complexion is lovely. A cheerful person's face shines. A light heart yields beautiful features. A face that may not be stunning, yet continually wears a gentle, kind smile, still inspires affection, approach, and friendship. It is a durable beauty that does not wear away with time and needs no makeup or surgery. Those who often frown and take offense at the world are usually those who cannot accept life as it island. They want everything to go their way, and when it does not, anger arises. They may think appearance is unimportant, not realizing that appearance is the result of the countless thoughts in the mind. Features are the fruit. The mind is the cause. If the cause is not corrected, how can the fruit be different? By contrast, those who know how to smile and stay optimistic in the face of disappointment are quietly accumulating blessings. Each time they endure without snapping, each time they quietly smile in adversity, they extinguish a portion of what is unwholesome and preserve a bit of good root. Gradually, their eyes grow brighter, their complexion improves, and their bearing becomes more at ease. This is appearance transformed by the heart. It is no accident that the ancients said, "A person with a blessed countenance is one who smiles without needing a reason." This smile is not pretense. It is the fruit of a life of understanding, letting go, and self-cultivation. If there were a cosmetic that could make a middle-aged woman more radiant, it would be a pure and wholesome smile. And if there were a piece of jewelry that could make one's features noble, it would be the smile that rises from a heart unmoved amid life's storms. The elders often said, "One smile dispels 1,000 sorrows." A smile that springs from a tranquil heart is not merely a sign of joy. It is a mirror reflecting an inner life washed clean of affliction and heaviness. When the heart no longer stores resentment, when it is no longer shadowed by the clouds of envy, the smile becomes as natural as cool water from a spring, refreshing and pure. Such a smile is entirely different from the forced smile, the smile to please, or the smile that hides exhaustion. A counterfeit smile stops at the corners of the mouth while the eyes remain cold or dull. A genuine smile spreads from the eyes to the lips, from the soul to the face. When someone smiles with both eyes and heart, those before them feel it instantly, as when standing before a flower blooming in its season, unshowy yet warming to the core. The ancients believed that those who wear a constant smile are people whose hearts know how to harmonize themselves. Life is full of change. None escape the stormy days. Yet some, even in wind and rain, keep a composed smile, neither panicking nor sinking long into gloom, because they know how to view life with forbearance, seeing difficulties as waves that will dissolve on their own, needing no excessive resistance. A steady smile also signals abundant inner vitality. When energy circulates freely, and the heart is free of the toxins of anger and greed, the complexion brightens, the lips grow soft, and the mouth naturally curves into a gentle arc. This is a blessed feature that cosmetics cannot create or buy. Those who smile naturally make others feel at ease, draw people near, and more readily form good connections. Crucially, such a smile is not trained in front of a mirror, but in the heart before every circumstance. When faced with displeasing events, instead of reacting sharply, they inhale deeply, pause, and smile lightly. When hearing gossip, instead of flaring up, they smile it off and keep the heart quiet. With each victory over themselves, they build a serene countenance that time cannot easily erode. In the Buddha's teaching, smiling is also a practice of joyful letting go. Joy is a pure happiness, not dependent on external conditions. Letting go is the release of resentment and fixation. One who knows joy and release often carries a gentle smile because the heart is not dragged down by what has passed, nor worried by what is yet to come. A woman who keeps a ready smile has cultivated a kind of supple wisdom. That smile not only beautifies the face, it softens life's rough edges within the family. The smile of a wife or mother is the lamp that keeps the home warm. In society, a woman's smile is a bridge that draws people together, dissolves misunderstanding, and nurtures harmony. The elders taught, when the mouth smiles, the heart opens and blessings arrive of themselves. When the lips are tight and the heart narrow, misfortune walks in. When we smile with equanimity, blessing seeks us out like bees seeking flowers, like water seeking the lowlands. But when we force a closed, cold face or smile to conceal anger, our features harden, our vitality fades, and our relationships thin. There is a saying, calamity issues from the mouth, blessing enters through the mouth. Much misfortune begins with speech, and much good fortune comes from it. Words are like arrows. Once loosed from the bow, they are hard to recall. If the arrow is tipped with poison, it can shatter even the finest relationships in an instant. But if it carries silk and fragrance, it touches the heart without pain, and even leaves warmth behind. Gentle speech is not always sweet talk. It is saying what needs to be said in a way that does not wound, speaking with the intent to build rather than to destroy. Those with blessed features usually guard their lips because they understand the power of words. A single sentence can save someone in despair or push them over the edge if it carries contempt, mockery, or scorn. The ancients likened speech to seeds. Every seed sown in the soil of another's heart will sprout with time. Sow seeds of love, empathy, and encouragement, and flowers will bloom. Sow seeds of anger, and poisonous growth will spread. The soil of our own hearts is affected as well. For each harsh word we utter plants another harmful sprout within ourselves. A woman of blessing is not only eloquent, but knows when to stop. Sometimes one more sentence is too much, and that extra line becomes a blade that cuts another's heart. At times, silence is the wisest speech. Silence is not defeat, it is preserving a path of return and a chance for healing on both sides. In Buddhism, verbal karma is among the three most consequential, for it is easy to create and hard to repair. Each time we speak without gentleness, we not only burden ourselves with karma, but also stir waves of unrest in others. Conversely, when our words carry mindfulness and calm, the listener feels lighter, and we ourselves feel clearer and freer. The elders observed that those who speak gently over time tend to have slightly upturned lips, a soft complexion, a well-defined philtrum, and bright eyes. These are signs of blessed features. Those who habitually speak harshly often have tightly pressed lips, downturned corners of the mouth, dull eyes, and a frequent furrow between the brows, marks of depleted fortune. An old story tells of an upright official who in old age possessed an especially dignified face and radiant bearing. When asked his secret, he simply smiled. "All my life, I have never used words to make someone weep." That is the way of nurturing features through the virtue of speech, an invisible cosmetic, more effective than any powder in the world. A woman whose speech is gentle weighs right and wrong, truth and timeliness, self and other. To speak correctly yet cause hurt is not skillful. To speak softly in a way that leads others to recognize their own mistakes, that is wisdom. It is like spring rain, quiet, yet penetrating, nourishing green growth without breaking tender shoots. Therefore, to preserve blessed fortune, begin with the lips speak words of loving kindness to sow good affinities. Know to stop before words turn into blades. Keep silence when silence will protect another's heart. This is not only a way to keep harmony, it is a way to nourish one's features, heart, and blessings for a lifetime. Third, humility and prudence. The features of those with a fortunate future, Laozi said. The reason the rivers and seas can be kings over the 100 valleys is that they are good at placing themselves below. The sea is not arrogant, not striving to stand above, but accepts the low place to receive all streams that flow in. Precisely by lowering itself, it becomes vast, expansive, and greater than any brook. This principle, the ancients called the way of humility. Know how to dwell in the low place so you can contain all things. Know how to take one step back so you can advance 10,000 miles. In life, the higher one's position, the more one must learn to keep oneself low. The nearer the mountain peak, the stronger the wind. From a height, the view is wider, yet one also becomes an easy target for storms, scrutiny, and envy. The older a woman grows, the more ups and downs she experiences, the more she should understand this truth. Beauty will fade with time. Status will eventually recede. Talent will one day be surpassed. Only a humble heart and prudence in speech and conduct will keep others' respect and affection over the long run. The Book of Documents says arrogance invites loss, humility receives benefit. This is not only a moral teaching, it is an observation refined through generations. The arrogant person is like a vessel already full of water and unable to receive another drop. The humble person is like a vessel with room inside, always ready to receive knowledge, affection, and the help of others. One who is careful and reserved in speech, measured in action, who knows when to advance and when to retreat, who knows when silence is needed and when listening is required, has learned the art of being human at a deep level. For this reason, such a person's features often carry a fullness and clarity that win goodwill at first sight. By contrast, those who boast and love to compete reveal a scowling face. Their eyes dart from side to side. Their gait lacks straightforwardness, and their smile lacks sincerity. Even with exquisite makeup, their appearance still carries a trace of strain. When self-importance has soaked into the features, the spirit ebbs and fortune declines accordingly. The truly humble are not timid. They know their place in the river of life. They do not lower themselves to win pity. They choose to remain soft and receptive. Thus they can harmonize with many people and many situations without losing themselves. The ancients believed that those who preserve gentleness, speak with calm, do not quarrel for victory, and do not flaunt their gifts will always have peaceful features and a naturally noble bearing. Wherever such people go, they are trusted and loved. They do not create pressure or a sense of competition. They simply make others feel secure in their presence. Harmonious features give rise to good connections, and good connections bring blessings. This is a virtuous circle. Those with harmonious features born of humble hearts create good affinities, and those very affinities return as blessings. In traditional physiognomy, it was noted in particular that those who are humble from the heart tend to have brows that are relaxed and open a steady gaze, and a clear, well-defined philtrum, the area between the nose and the upper lip. These are signs associated with good fortune and longevity, and with auspicious relationships. They cannot be faked and cannot be drawn on with cosmetics. They appear only when the heart has truly settled, grown gentle, and become clear. Caution, in the classical sense, is not timidity. It is knowing one's boundaries, knowing one's duties, knowing what should be spoken and what should be kept. As women grow older, they should become more refined in speech, moderate in action, and observant of decorum in their dealings. This is not self-repression. It is a cultured inner life that makes one's features ever more poised and serene. Such a woman does not need to be overly skillful, yet she always puts others at ease. She does not speak much, yet each word invites reflection. She does not need to prove her worth, yet it shines of itself through insight, humility, and perseverance. People often say that talent may be needed to succeed, but to be loved and respected for a long time, one needs only one character: humility. If you wish to cultivate beautiful features, first, keep a heart that knows how to bow. Keep pride at bay. Let every deed and word be illuminated by the light of virtue. Your appearance will grow gentle. Your vitality will grow steady. Your later years will be calm and secure. Fourth, an unhurried gait and bearing. In the classical art of reading, features one's way of walking is not merely a movement habit. It is a mirror of the inner life. A woman who walks in haste feet, striking the ground, as if racing time is easily swayed by outer conditions. Her heart runs hot. It is hard for her to remain composed in a crisis. One who knows how to walk at an even pace, with a straight back, relaxed shoulders and feet, placing firmly on the ground as if keeping her own rhythm, is usually a person of steady intent, inner strength, and preserved fortune. The ancients said that haste makes waste. Life is not a race. It is a journey that requires calm to observe and understand. A woman who maintains an unhurried bearing usually knows where she is going, why she walks, and what is worth pausing for. Each step she takes plants a seed of ease. Over the years, those steps crystallize into a gentle, deep beauty of features and presence. An unhurried bearing does not mean sluggishness or lack of drive. It is the mark of one who knows how to regulate her energy and refuses to be drained by meaningless matters. When she walks with an even breath, a straight posture, and eyes clearly seeing the road, she gives off a quiet confidence that earns both respect and closeness. Observers of old noticed that those who constantly walk fast with bowed heads and eyes flicking about tend to have hurried features and unstable vitality. Those who keep a slow, steady gait, eyes looking forward without harshness, upper and lower body in balance, have features of enduring fortune. A person's gait is the flow of the body's energy. Moving more slowly helps regulate breath and blood, keeping body and mind in balance. From that balance, the features stabilize and blessings arise more easily. Notice this in gatherings. A woman who enters with hurried steps and shoes clicking rapidly often pulls the atmosphere into a rush tempo. One who enters calmly with a light smile and sure steps seems to bring a field of quiet with her. Her presence becomes an invisible reminder to slow down and not hurry. An unhurried bearing is also a sign of one who knows how to live with herself. She does not need to prove anything to the world. She is not driven by the urge to outdo others. In Buddhism, this is the state of dwelling peacefully in each step. Each step is a breath. Each breath opens a small sky of peace. One who lives this way carries a clear spring within, even in a noisy city. A woman with a measured gait makes a good impression from the first meeting. In the family, this bearing brings a sense of safety to husband and children. At work, it helps colleagues and partners feel trust. In social life, it becomes a quiet sign that says this person is steady and dependable, and not easily swept up in gossip. The ancients also believed that one's gait is a silent language that reveals character. The hasty easily forfeit their blessings through impatience. Those who move slowly and moderately, balancing pace with awareness, accumulate deep merit. Each steady step laid today is a brick paving the peaceful road of tomorrow. Fifth, a harmonious face and a fresh, radiant complexion, the mirror of a tranquil life. In classical physiognomy, there is a clear distinction between beauty and harmony. Beauty may be innate, sharp features, captivating eyes, a high nose bridge, rosy lips, but that is only the initial form, like a fresh flower that dazzles for a few days. Harmony is different. Harmony is a beauty that lives with the years without fearing fade. A beauty that keeps its softness and ease on the eye, that others can gaze upon without weariness and draw near to without fatigue. A harmonious face need not meet any single aesthetic standard. It only needs balance among the features between bone and flesh, between the eyes and the smile, between outward appearance and inward bearing. Strangely, when the inner life is at ease, what once seemed mismatched naturally becomes harmonious. A slightly square chin, a single eyelid, a nose that is not high can all become unique charms if a person's aura conveys gentleness and brightness. The ancients said, "Form arises from the mind. Circumstances shift with the mind. When the heart is kind, the features soften of themselves. When the heart is hot, the features turn harsh." This is not only Buddhist philosophy, it is an observable fact. Each time we grow angry, countless tiny facial muscles contract, etching lines into the forehead, the corners of the eyes, the edges of the mouth. If anger becomes a habit, those lines set, and even a young face takes on a gaunt, tense look. Conversely, when we live calmly, know how to yield and know how to smile at life, the facial muscles are regularly released. That release keeps the face supple, the expression light, and makes others feel at ease when they look at us. So too, with one's coloration. In physiognomy, complexion is a direct mirror of the body and mind's health. Those who are healthy, whose energy and blood circulate well, who live serenely with few worries, tend to have naturally bright, rosy skin. The ancients called this blessings made visible. Blessing does not need display. One can see it in the face. Women who maintain a fresh, bright complexion do not chase excess desires or drown themselves in constant pressure and anxiety. They know to rest, care for the body, eat in moderation, and most importantly, to care for the mind. To tend the body without tending the mind is like dusting the outside of the house while leaving the rooms filled with trash. Tension, resentment, and jealousy, no matter how cleverly concealed, seep into one's expression over time, dulling the skin, clouding the eyes, and tiring the very aura. Buddhism teaches a simple yet profound principle: when the mind is pure, the body is pure. Those who keep a clean heart and seldom dwell on unwholesome thoughts naturally sleep well and eat well. Their health stabilizes, and that stability nourishes the complexion. Those who harbor many afflictions, live in anger, or constantly worry about what has not yet come, not only see their health decline, but their color is eroded as well. I once heard a story from an elderly physician that perfectly fits this teaching. He spoke of two sisters in a small village. The elder was strikingly pretty, fair skin, red lips but quick-tempered and competitive. The younger was of average looks, but gentle and always yielding. Many years later, when both had passed 40, the once beautiful elder had a grey cast, many wrinkles, and eyes that always flashed tension. The younger, though she used no cosmetics, kept a rosy skin, bright eyes, and a pleasant face. The old doctor concluded the younger sister won in the heart. With a kind heart and smooth circulation of energy and blood, the features naturally changed. The ancients also advised that to keep a harmonious face and a fresh complexion, one must first learn to calm the waves within. When emotion surges, do not let it immediately seize your features. When faced with what displeases you, breathe slowly so thought can settle before you react. When meeting someone who opposes you, remember that keeping a gentle face is not merely politeness, it is a way of cultivating your features. This does not mean we should force a fake smile. On the contrary, the more we force, the more awkward it appears, and over time it becomes exhausting. Learn to live deeply so the face becomes naturally gentle and the complexion naturally bright. Features endure only when they are born from within, from a life aligned with principle, with the way, and with the heart. I once met a woman of 60 in a small rural town. She had no fair skin and wore no makeup, yet her face always seemed lit from within. When asked her secret, she simply smiled. "I seldom get angry. Whatever displeases me, I treat like passing clouds. I eat in moderation, sleep in moderation, and my heart is in moderation." I believe that is the perfect answer for keeping one's features and complexion. The ancients taught when the heart is at peace, the face is at peace. When the heart is anxious, the face is sorrowful. In the end, a harmonious, bright countenance is the result of a life lived with measure. Nothing in excess, nothing demanded too much, nothing pursued too hard. It is the most durable feature, for it does not come from youth, but from how we walk through the years. As the saying goes, small goods accumulate into great ones. Accumulated virtue becomes features. The face is not only a gift from one's parents, nor something time carves at will. It is the outcome of each small deed, each living habit, each quiet thought repeated over many years. If a woman day after day keeps a dignified bearing, walks unhurriedly, gestures gently, dresses neatly, speaks moderately, and knows right from wrong in her dealings, then even without a word, her presence radiates refinement and earnestness. Wherever such a person goes, others naturally feel respect. Conversely, someone indulgent, careless, hot-tempered, and lax in speech and conduct will over time see her features drift out of balance, slumped shoulders, rounded back dull eyes, drooping lips, a darkened hue. These are not only signs of age, but the result of a life lacking care and mindfulness. Conduct is form, the mind is its guardian. A beautiful heart with unpolished conduct is like a precious gem covered in dust, still valuable, but its luster obscured. Conversely, one who tends to each small movement, who is not sloppy from fatigue, nor discourteous from familiarity, will through each act refine her expression and brighten her bearing from within outward. The wrinkles of age are unavoidable, but spirit, the most important thing, will shine ever more clearly with each good habit accumulated. The ancients believed that only those who are careful in small matters can accomplish great ones. An unattractive habit, if repeated long enough, becomes a mark. That mark becomes appearance, and that appearance influences destiny. Here one factor is decisive: a benevolent heart. Goodness is the root of blessed features. The ancients said calamity and blessing have no gate. They are summoned only by people. One who holds goodness in the heart does good, and speaks what is good, is quietly aided by heaven and earth. One who harbors malice and schemes for gain and loss, no matter how pretty on the outside, will struggle to keep a gentle look, for resentment and desire will gradually carve themselves into the face and settle in the eyes. Look closely, and you will see that kind people tend to have a steady, warm gaze, naturally rosy lips, a gentle voice, and a peaceful expression. They need not strain to be beautiful, because their bearing is beautiful at the root. By contrast, those who harbor jealousy, envy, or anger often have a cold, cutting gaze, furrowed brows, downturned lips, and a darkened hue. No cosmetic can hide these things, for they are true features, a faithful mirror of the inner life. There is a story about an old woman who carried water for hire. She was poor all her life, yet never coveted another's belongings or raged at anyone. When village children were thirsty, she ladled water for them without charge. If someone in the village fell ill, she stopped by with a handful of medicinal leaves, asking nothing in return. When she passed away, the whole village came to see her off. All mourned a woman gentle as the earth. Later, her descendants were not unimaginably rich, but they lived in peace and often found help from others. That was the blessed fortune she had stored over a lifetime, soaking into the family's affinities. Goodness not only beautifies the face, it opens doors of destiny. When the heart is clear, the features grow gentle. When the features are gentle, the vital energy rests at ease. When that energy is at ease, fortune flows smoothly. Conversely, a malicious heart skews the features. Skewed features weaken the energy. Weakened energy interrupts one's fortune. This is not superstition, but cause and effect revealed in daily life. Therefore, if you wish to cultivate blessed features, begin with the simplest things. Nurture every daily act with mindfulness and kindness. Walk a little slower so you do not jostle anyone. Speak a little softer so you do not wound anyone. Think a little more carefully so you do not rush to judge anyone. Each wholesome thought is a stroke of light drawn upon the face. Each wholesome deed is a flower opening in your bearing. Appearance is the fruit, the heart is the cause. A good cause yields a good fruit. Fixing the features from the outside is like repainting an old wall, lovely but not lasting. Renewing the features from within endures, because when the heart turns to goodness, conduct becomes beautiful, appearance aligns energy, rests and destiny opens. The greatest blessed fortune in a human life is a face that when others look at it makes them feel safe, at ease, and inclined to stay near. The more virtuously a woman lives, the more the passing years brighten her countenance. It is no longer the dazzling beauty of youth, nor a looks that astonishes at first sight, but a calm, warm beauty that soothes everyone nearby. It is the beauty of graciousness, of virtue, of a life lived deeply able to let go of what harms the soul. The ancients spoke of a phenomenon that seems strange yet is true to life. The more a wicked person ages, the harsher the face becomes. Unwholesome thoughts, schemes that harm others for personal gain, and words as sharp as blades, all are gradually engraved on the face as wrinkles, looks, and coloring. By contrast, the more a kind person ages, the more benevolent the face. Within them is the tolerance of the sea, the serenity of the mountains and forests, and a gentle light like the early autumn sun. This is not a sudden gift of luck, but the result of years of nurturing a kind heart and living in accord with the way. In the end, the human face is like a plot of land. Sow good seeds and flowers will bloom. Sow harmful seeds and thorns will grow. Every word, every act, every emotion, each day is a seed we plant in the soil of our own face. Some people plant flowers daily, and so their eyes shine, their smile softens, and their complexion glows. Others stoke the fire of anger daily, and so their brows knit tight, the corners of the mouth droop, and the gaze turns cold. A woman with blessed fortune is not one who is always lucky, but one who keeps a good heart even in hardship, maintains dignity in humble circumstances, remains grateful in abundance, and stays humane when in power. She lives in a way that does not shame heaven and earth, does not betray others, and does not betray herself. Each time she thinks a kind thought, her face brightens a little. Each time she lets go of a harmful impulse, her complexion settles a little more. Laozi once said, "The noble person cultivates virtue. The petty person cultivates appearance. The wise know that appearance is only the opening of affinity, but virtue is what makes people stay. A beautiful face is no match for a clear heart. A heart without greed or anger, without envy or pretense, is the cool spring that nourishes every other kind of beauty. Such a person grows more precious the longer you look, and more refreshing and pleasant the closer you are. If you wish to keep a freshness that does not fade, begin by keeping the heart pure, nurturing kindness, avoiding words that harm, and refraining from deeds that damage virtue. That is the most enduring way to be beautiful. No scalpel or heavenly beauty is needed, only a benevolent heart. Live steadfastly with what is good, and blessed features will arise of themselves. Destiny will open of itself. Life will become like a garden that, despite sudden sun and rain, still comes into bloom. My dear friend, a human life is a mirror of the inner heart. Outward looks may change with time, but the eyes, the spirit, the smile, and the bearing are nourished from within. The ancients said, "Features arise from the mind. Blessings gather where virtue abides. One with a good heart receives blessings even without asking. One who lives virtuously finds respect even without seeking." So do not grieve if you are no longer young. Do not blame yourself if you have never been the most beautiful in the eyes of the world. A beautiful face is the work of creation, but a face that makes others feel at ease is the fruit of a life of self-cultivation. Live a little slower so you can hear yourself. Speak a little more gently so you do not hurt anyone. Be more grateful so the heart is always full. Strive less for victory so your complexion does not cloud. Every upright act, every kind word, every thought for others is a quiet stroke that beautifies the face and builds blessed features. Remember, blessed features do not lie in the 5 facial points but in harmonious energy. Not in the skin but in the attitude. Not in what makes others exclaim but in what makes them want to come near. Live so that as time passes, your face becomes a flower blossoming from a kind heart, a clear mind, and a loving spirit. When a woman begins to change from within, her features gradually change as well. Yet there is something more precious than features' blessed fortune. Features are what others see. Blessed fortune is what others feel. Features can change quickly. Blessed fortune takes years of cultivation to ripen. It does not show in a high nose bridge or large eyes, but in a calm bearing, a pleasing voice and conduct that makes everyone nearby feel warm. Some look ordinary at first glance, but grow more precious with acquaintance. Others dazzle at first, yet become tiring up close. That is because blessed fortune does not lie on the surface, but in one's essence. It does not come from luck, but from three things that cannot be faked: character, stillness, and kindness. The ancients said, "When blessing is present, auspicious signs abound. When misfortune is present, troubles multiply." A blessed person finds things going smoothly, within and without. One who carries misfortune meets tangles everywhere. The elders taught that a person's blessed fortune does not arise by chance, nor can it be borrowed from anyone else. It is accumulated day by day through how we live, how we think, and how we treat others and ourselves. Within the treasury of ancient wisdom are three treasures a woman should cherish and tend daily, if she wishes to keep her blessed fortune: enduring presence, stillness, and kindness. To preserve lasting fortune, she must guard these three treasures, for they will determine whether 10, 20, 30 years from now, your face is a field of flowers or a barren plot of land. First is presence. Presence is not something you can buy, nor can it be borrowed from clothing, jewelry, or layers of makeup. It is the sum of wisdom, experience, inner training, and the choices we make in meeting life. A person with presence needs few words to express herself, yet when she enters a room, eyes are naturally drawn to her. It is not flashy glamour, but a quiet magnetism, like the faint fragrance of a flower that lingers in memory. Presence is formed from understanding, compassion, and a deep confidence that rises from within. When we are willing to learn each day, to open to the new, to listen before speaking, our wisdom grows, and that wisdom shows on the face. A woman of presence knows when to speak and when to be still, keeps measure in every act, and preserves harmony even in conflict. The ancients said, "When one's energy is settled, destiny is at peace. When presence is steady, fate naturally becomes serene." Second is stillness. Stillness is the soil in which the seeds of virtue can sprout. In a noisy world, the one who keeps her heart quiet holds the strongest inner power. Stillness does not mean withdrawing from life. It means knowing how to pause amid the current, guarding the heart from being swept away by gain and loss. A woman with stillness is not rash in action, not hot-tempered in speech, and does not decide when the mind is in turmoil. Stillness is also the capacity to observe oneself, to recognize when one is angry or sad, and not let those emotions drive one into harmful deeds. Such a person walks unhurriedly with a peaceful gaze and a steady voice, and her blessed fortune spreads like a subtle fragrance, present without display. Third is kindness. If presence is the beauty of wisdom and stillness, the beauty of inner strength, then kindness is the beauty of the heart. A kind heart knows how to care, to forgive, to yield when needed, and also to stand firm for what is right. Kindness keeps a woman from discomfort at others' success, from nitpicking every win and loss, from harshness when seeing someone stumble. Kindness sows blessing for others and for oneself. For every time we are generous, we free ourselves from the burden of hatred. Each time we help another, we add to our own fortune. Over time, that kindness becomes the light in the eyes, the softness at the lips, and the serenity in every gesture. Dear friend, these three treasures, presence, stillness, and kindness, cannot be amassed in a day. They must be nourished daily through small repeated acts: each morning, a few deep breaths, and a smile. Each night, thinking of three good things, so the heart remembers gratitude. Pausing one beat before speaking when anger arises. Finding one thing to praise or empathize with when meeting someone difficult. In doing so, we quietly give our face a radiance no cosmetic can create, and our destiny a foundation no money can buy. This is the truest and most enduring blessed fortune. Each of us is like a garden. Some plant fragrant flowers and rare grasses. Others let weeds grow wild. No one brings that garden to us. It is our own inner life, cultivated silently through the years. and whether that garden is beautiful or withered will be etched upon our face, eyes, speech, and bearing. Blessed fortune is not a luxury granted to the few, nor a gift of heaven that one keeps at will. It is the fruit of a life aligned with the way good-hearted, respectful, and pure amid the dust of the world. One with blessed fortune sows good seeds each day, waters them with perseverance, and harvests them with a tranquil smile. There are secrets the elders kept and practiced across generations quietly, without display, yet powerful enough to bring a life from restlessness to peace, from want to sufficiency. One such secret is the habit of reciting the Buddha's name, or a bodhisattva's name, at a set time, especially each evening. The ancients called it the golden hour, the moment when heaven and earth harmonize, the mind settles, and the energies of compassion and wisdom spread most easily. They believed that if this practice is kept steadily, blessed merit grows like the waxing moon, and prosperity flows like a spring that does not run dry. That hour arrives when the street's quiet lights in windows begin to dim, and a cool night breeze slips through the cracks. Birds sleep, grasses stand still, and people close their day. In that hush, some homes still show a small lamp by the family altar. There is the low tap of a wooden fish, the ring of a bell, or simply the steady whisper, Namo Amitabha Buddha. No hurry, no bustle, everything slow like a gentle river at night. The ancients understood that heaven's gifts are not gold and silver dropping from the sky, but the results of wholesome seeds we sow. The Dharma makes it clear good fortune and blessing are fruits of the good karma we plant. Among the countless moments for sowing, there are hours when the soil of the heart is more fertile and good seeds take root more readily. The evening golden hour is such ground. When the mind has settled and wandering thoughts have quieted, the recitation sinks into the alaya storehouse consciousness and forms wholesome results in this life and the next. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha taught that one who knows how to guard the mind, knowing when to be still and when to move, is like a farmer who sows in the right season and will surely reap a bountiful harvest. Evening is the sowing season for practitioners, not measured by months and days, but by the meeting of quiet surroundings, a calm mind and a clear vow. Countless confirming stories live quietly in folk memory. There was a small-town shopkeeper who opened from dawn until late. While others used their breaks to play or be entertained, he would, after closing, light incense, place his palms together and softly recite Namo Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. He did not pray to sell more, only for a peaceful heart, so that customers came and went with joy. Strangely, once he kept this habit, business flowed smoothly, debts lightened, and regular customers multiplied. An old woman who sold cakes at the district market for decades sat each evening before the small family altar in her kitchen to recite the Buddha's name for a few dozen minutes. She did not know many sutras, only the chant her mother had passed down. She said, "All my life, I have never gone hungry, nor have I fallen into utter destitution. It must be thanks to the Buddha's protection." In truth, the Buddha does not show favoritism. It was her sincerity and her habit of planting wholesome causes that created a lasting store of merit for her. Even in a crowded city, a young woman found peace after the pressures of work by sitting quietly each evening for 15 minutes to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. At first, it was only a trial, but gradually she noticed her mind growing clearer, her decisions more decisive, and new opportunities arriving of their own accord. This is how blessed merit continues to increase. It is not noisy or boastful. It comes from the steady sowing of wholesome causes each day, especially at the time when the mind most easily gathers and rests. If well used, the evening golden hour becomes a storehouse of blessing for a lifetime. The elders kept this secret, speaking little and doing much because they knew that those who practice will verify it for themselves. A seed does not need an explanation. It only needs to be sown at the right time, and one day flowers will open and fruit will ripen. If you truly wish to change your fortune, seek blessing and hope for prosperity, do not wait. This evening, set aside a short time, put everything down, sit and recite. Do not rush to grasp at results. Simply sow the cause. One day, you will realize that what you called heaven's bounty is in fact the wholesome fruit of those simple evenings filled with sincere heart. There are secrets the ancients preserved like treasures handed down through many generations without being lost yet, without display or clamor. Once practiced, their power is recognized from within. Among them is a particular habit reciting the Buddha's or a bodhisattva's name at a golden hour each evening. The elders called it the hour when the heart opens, a moment when heaven and earth seem to meet, when the human mind easily settles, when wholesome energy is readily gathered and blessing is easily nurtured. They believed that if this discipline is kept steadily, merit will grow like the waxing moon, and prosperity will flow like a spring that never runs dry. That hour arrives when night has fully fallen, streets have quieted, traffic sounds have thinned, and lights in the windows go out one by one until only a few lamps remain. The night breeze is cool and carries the scent of leaves and earth, the smell of the countryside's night, or the chill of the city's mist. Birds sleep petals close, and people draw inward after a long day. In that stillness, here and there, a home remains lit before the family altar. There is the deep tapping of a wooden fish, the resonant ring of a bell, or simply the unhurried recitation, Namo Amitabha Buddha, even and steady, falling like drops of dew upon a night lake. The elders understood that heaven's gifts do not fall from nowhere. In the law of cause and effect, luck is not the play of fate. It is the ripened fruit of wholesome seeds. The Dharma teaches that as the seed is sown, so the fruit is reaped. There are times when the soil of the heart is more fertile and seeds take root more quickly. The evening golden hour is such ground. When wandering thoughts have settled and the mind is at rest, the recited words are not only sound, they are energy that goes straight into the alaya storehouse consciousness, where they are kept and congeal into wholesome results in this life, the next life, and even across many lives to come. The Buddha taught in the Anguttara Nikaya that one who knows how to guard the mind, knowing when to be still and when to move, is like a farmer who sows in the right season and surely reaps a bountiful harvest. Each evening's golden hour is the sowing season for a practitioner. It is not measured by calendar days and months, but by the convergence of a quiet setting, a calm mind, and a clear resolve. Many confirming stories have endured through the generations. There is a village shopkeeper who opens from early morning until late at night. While others use their breaks to play or watch television, he takes a short time after closing to light incense, place his palms together, and recite Namo Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. He does not pray for riches, only for a peaceful heart, for customers to arrive happily and leave happily. From the time he kept this habit, business flowed smoothly, debts lightened, and regular customers grew in number. An old woman who sold cakes at the district market for many decades sat each evening before the kitchen altar and recited the Buddha's name for a few dozen minutes. She did not know many sutras, only the chant her mother had passed down. She said, "All my life I have never been hungry, nor have I fallen into utter hardship. It must be thanks to the Buddha's protection." In truth, the Buddha does not show favoritism. It was her steady sowing of wholesome causes that brought her enduring merit. Even in a crowded city, a young woman after the pressures of work found peace by sitting quietly each evening for 15 minutes to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. At first it was only to ease anxiety, but gradually she found her mind clearer, her decisions firmer, and new opportunities arriving one after another. This is how blessed merit keeps increasing. It is not noisy show, but the quiet power of good seeds sown steadily. Each evening we drop one more wholesome seed into the field of blessing, and over time a whole garden of goodness will bloom. What we then receive, good luck, opportunity, prosperity, does not come as a handout from elsewhere. It is the natural harvest of that garden of wholesome causes. The elders kept this secret by speaking little and doing much because they knew that anyone who practices will feel it for themselves. A seed needs no explanation. It only needs to be sown at the right time. When the season arrives, the tree will flower and fruit. So if you truly want to change your fortune, seek blessings, and invite prosperity, don't wait. Tonight, set aside a short time. Let everything go, sit down, and recite, not grasping for quick results, simply sowing the cause. One day you will smile, and realize that what you took as heaven's bounty was in fact the wholesome fruit of those simple, sincere evenings. There was a farming family by the riverside whose harvests were uncertain, some years bountiful, some years wiped out. After the mother of the house began the habit of sitting each evening before the family altar to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha and dedicate the merit to all beings, something remarkable happened. In years of great floods, their fields were preserved more than those around them. In seasons of drought, their rice remained greener than in many places. They did not see it as a miracle, but as the good fruit of a sincere heart. Since beginning the recitation, the whole family also changed how they lived, more self-restrained, more willing to share. That very harmony drew many favorable affinities to them. An old mountain carpenter once said, "When I was young, I was hot-tempered and quarrelsome, so business was always rough." After a grave illness that he thought he wouldn't survive, an elder monk advised him, "Try reciting the Buddha's name in the evening." At first he recited just to calm himself, but the more he recited, the less anger and greed he felt. Strangely, customers began to return regularly. People who had once fallen out with him came back to work with him. That was not only material good fortune, but the blessing of restored relationships, something money can hardly buy. A factory worker in an export zone said that after overtime she would reach her rented room exhausted, yet remembering her mother's counsel, she still sat down, closed her eyes, and recited the Buddha's name for a few minutes. On many days she asked for nothing but peace, yet she gradually found herself healthier, less prone to minor illness, and steadier under pressure. That very health and clarity helped her be chosen for a better position with higher pay. She laughed, "Perhaps the Buddha gives me a clear mind to find my own prosperity rather than handing it to me ready-made." In a coastal fishing village, a family had passed down the trade of going to sea. In years of rough waters and fierce waves, many boats met disaster, yet theirs remained safe. The father said it was because, on the night before each voyage, the whole family gathered to recite Namo Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, praying for peace for every boat on the sea without distinction. The boon they received was not only a hold full of fish, but the whole crew returning home safe and sound. Viewed with ordinary eyes, such stories might seem like mere luck. Under the light of the Dharma, all of it follows the law of cause and effect. Reciting the Buddha's name at the golden hour is not a magic spell to change one's life overnight, but a means to turn the heart toward goodness, to gather wholesome energy, and to nurture it day by day. When the mind is clear, the deeds are good, and the words are gentle, favorable conditions come of themselves like bees seeking flowers or water flowing to the sea. Heaven's bounty, then, is not a random handout from a supreme being, but the harvest of sowing and reaping. Often the fruits ripen together, and when good breaks arrive in succession, it feels as if heaven is favoring us. In truth, we are simply reaping at once many wholesome fruits planted in the past and the present. In the evening golden hour, in the stillness of night, the mind is easily settled, and that settled mind is the key that opens the storehouse of blessing. When we recite it is not only a call to the Buddhas, but a call to our own pure mind. When the mind is pure, wisdom is bright. When wisdom is bright, actions align. When actions align, blessing and prosperity follow like a shadow follows its form. The ancients said to accumulate blessing as one accumulates prosperity, and they were right. Blessing is the foundation of prosperity. Prosperity can be lost, but if blessing remains, prosperity will come again. The evening recitation is a way to preserve and increase blessing durably, so that even as circumstances change, the root of goodness stands firm and the stream of prosperity continues to flow.